went ahead and took the liberty of putting the hook into the vise. This is just a standard. I'm actually tying this a little bigger. This is just a standard size 12 tri-fly hook. And for my thread, I'm just using some 8/0 yellow thread for tonight's tie. So just like always, I like to start about an eye length behind the eye, and then I just make touching wraps of my thread to about the halfway point. We can go ahead and clip that excess off. And then we're going to go ahead and come forward. Again, these don't, not a loose spiral, but I just go ahead and do touching wraps going forward. And I come forward and have the hook, have the thread there, and that's where I'm going to do my wing. And that's how I set my wing base for every time I'm going to tie a wing. So I'm going to have to cut slips out. I'm doing for this this tie tonight, and this will be a Ginger Quill fly when I'm done. So I'm just trying to find some good area of feather here that I can use. So whenever I'm doing these dry flies, I've kind of made this little gizmo, and it's just an X-Acto blade handle, and this is a paper clip that I've just put in there and clipped it, and you can tell one edge is just a little longer than the other. So what I do is I use this as a gauge when I'm doing these wings, and I just set it up there and I pinch it till it gets to the width I need, and then that's what I use when I'm going to punch out for my wing. So just come through. Now I get exactly the width I wanted, and just come in and clip that off. Set that to the side. Do the same thing on the other wing. Just come in. I've already got the width set, and that longer piece I can set it on the top of a previous cut and just run it and run that right on through. And then I have the same width wing, and I know it's going to match the gap of my hook. So I just take them, marry the two wings up, like so. They look good. Alright, so you can see this wing material kind of points forward. So I want that to be the forward edge when I bring up that wing. So I'm going to kind of measure my width or my length of my fly. So there's the hook, or the wing size I want, equal to the shank of the hook. So just come up over the top. I like to give myself just a little extra thread here. Come up over, whoop. Come up over, come down, and I kind of like to just push it, maybe even work it down a little bit with my bobbin. And then I can come up and oh, my thread just broke. That's not going to hold, so let's start over. Look at that. I'll tell you too, thread, I tie up predominantly most of my flies I tie with a black, and some with red thread. If you're tying, and that happens with you on these different color threads, you know, if you're not using them a lot, you run that risk of them going bad on you. So I don't think that's the case with this thread, but you know, we'll find out. Thread does go bad. So we're back, we're going to remeasure, come in, same thing, come down, come back up, and just kind of really pinch that in there, like so. That one on the other side, it wasn't quite following the rules. Here, come in. There we go. That's a pretty decent quill wing. Now, I'll be honest, these quill wings, they can give you fits. You know, they can collapse, they come apart. There's just a lot of things that can happen to them. So I'm just going to bind down that back end there. Then I'm going to stand that wing up. Basically, all I'm doing is I'm getting really close to the tie-in point, and I'm putting in like a little thread bump or thread dam to make that wing stand up. Okay, so now we're just gonna come back. Next thing we're gonna do is, I have a nice ginger cape, or neck rather, and I've just pulled a longer feather off, and it may be a little hard to see. I've pulled that off, and I'm just gonna pull off some barbels to use the tail material. So just like the wing, I'm going to want this tail to be equal to the shank of the hook. So I'm just going to kind of show it on your side, my side right there. I kind of see where my tie-in point's going to be. So we'll just take the thread all the way back. My tie-in point is the same on all my dry flies. It's right above the barb, the end of the barb. So I'm just putting that material just a little bit on my side, and as I wrap it, I'm letting the thread torque roll it over onto the top of the hook. Okay. So we're here. We're just going to come back, and I want to clip this off right where I have the wing material ending. Let me get that in there right there. There's one little piece that just does not want to cooperate with me. There we go. All right, so now I'm just going to come in and see, now I'm going to have a nice straight body. So this next section, what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more. There we go. Oh, stay on the fly. All right, so we're just going to come back. The next thing I need is, I'm going to make a quill. So I'm just going to take a peacock curl, and I'm going to strip it down and get all of the fuzzies off of the iridescent stuff. So all you got to do, I usually bleach burn this stuff, but I'm out of my bleach burn stuff, so I'm just gonna do it this way. And you just take your thumbnail and you can just run it down and you will take just a little bit of time and you'll get it all off. Just go down the feather away from in the opposite direction, and you will get everything off. And you don't need a ton, you know, maybe an inch and a half or so of material is all you're going to need. So now I'm here and I'm just going to tie it on my side. I'm just cording up the thread a little bit. Alright, some quick wraps. Move that forward. I have one of my tail fibers just doesn't want to cooperate with the program here. There we go. Now, hackle pliers. I definitely have to use my hackle pliers for this material. So we're just going to come up and over. We definitely just want to make touching wraps. And these first couple wraps always have a little bit of problem because you got that hook barb in the way, or the hook point rather. Just come up and over. Just like so. And you can get some different, you know, color variations when you're doing this, because there's some different colors. You know, usually this thing is a kind of a mahogany brownish color, but you can find other colors. And all I'm doing now is just repositioning my hackle pliers so I can get one more wrap. Just like so. Come up over the top. Now what I like to do is I'm going to take a couple wraps forward with it just to really get that bound down nice and tight. So we just come back where we want to be at. Oh. Like so. Next, the only thing left we'll do is we're just going to hackle the fly, and I'm just going to pull out a grizzly, or excuse me, geez, a ginger. And I just want to find the one. I've got a gauge on my vise. If you don't have one, I really suggest you get one, and check your feathers, you know, before you pull them off. It can save you some frustration and maybe a little bit of money if you're pulling them off and finding out that they're you know, not the right size feather, and then you've just wasted a bunch of, you know, feathers. So pulled one off, got it right here, and I'm just going to strip the fuzzy stuff off the bottom. Where I'm going to need it. Then palmate this feather. And you know, I was doing a fly tying thing the other day, and I realized everyone says to tell you to palmate the feather like so. A lot of people don't tell you why, and the reason you do it is you want to make sure the barbels are kind of in line and straight. You know, if you get a weird taper to it, you're going to have a weird taper when you go to hackle your fly. So, got this prepared. And now I'm just going to come and tie it in. so. I bind that down pretty good because there's going to be some torque on it, on that tie-in point. You just take that forward, get it out of the way. I can take my feather, come up over the top like so. Now I will tell you, kind of the hallmark of these Catskill flies is they were not overdressed. You know, this is a pretty sparse fly, so I'm going to put 1, 2 in the back, and then I'm going to come up to the front, and I'm 1. I might put 3 in the front, 2, and a third. Okay. I'm just going to tie that off. So work my thread up and through. 1, 2. Rotate it so I can just clip it. Not have to worry about my feather and clipping thread. So now how I like to finish these whenever I'm tying a dry fly is I use my half hitch tool. So what I do is take the tool, just wrap the thread in there a few times, and then I can use the wrong end. There we go. Put it on there, and then you just put the tool onto the eye of the hook, and then you can pull it tight, like so. Right? Do that again. 1, 2, 3. Come in, pull, and I broke it, but that's fine because I was gonna clip it off anyway. The last thing I'm gonna do is take my bobbin, work it down between my wings here, get that nice angle that we're looking for. You know, I have people tell me, you know, you want it to be 30 degrees, whatever. You know, just put it in there how you like it. We got some errant feathers sticking back, pieces sticking back. I don't particularly care for that on my flies, so I'm going to clip those off. Be careful when you get to clip them. You can ruin your fly pretty quick. But there is the Ginger Quill. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, hit that like and subscribe or follow or whatever. I'd appreciate it. And until next time, I'll see you around the vise.